All right, you guys, as most... He yeah, he did say yes. He said yes. All right, you guys, this is Herman. We actually sent Herman to Atala, and believe it or not, we had 1 million people interested in him, and people just kept saying, oh, I wish he was bigger. I wish he was bigger. We had so many guys that, I mean, several people that were like, oh, I'd buy him in a heartbeat. But they were all bigger guys, Jacob size, and I'm going to tell you, he is probably, what, 14'2"? He's 14'2", probably. But, I mean, this horse has been really, really a fun horse. Now, I am going to tell you, the only reason I wouldn't call him youth suitable is he can be a little pushy on the ground. Not terrible. Any adult should not have problems. And he's a little forward under saddle. But I don't think that a lady rider, an adult, even if you're slightly inexperienced, I think that you could do a little groundwork with him and definitely have him behaving. He is not a horse that you can't get his attention or anything like that. I do think he's, because I've had a lot of people call and be like, my daughter's 7. I don't recommend him for your 7-year-old daughter. And it has nothing to do with buck or rear up or under saddle. He's a little forward, and on the ground, he can be just sometimes. And you know what? If you don't let him be pushy, you'll never have a problem. But I do think he's the kind of horse that if you let him get away with it, he would do it. But listen, this horse can trail ride. He's not spooky. He is sound. He's priced incredibly cheap, and he's beautiful. And I'm telling you, everybody at Atala was so impressed with him. And the only reason I think that he didn't actually bring really good money was just his size, because our bigger horses sold good. They sold great. But that's down, it's kind of more of a big horse. A lot of people down there are really going to the big horses. He's about 14'2". Jackie's 5'3". 5'2". So, I mean, he's not a giant horse. Obviously, Clint or Jacob would look big on him. So, I can understand why a big guy maybe didn't feel like this horse was perfect. But how many of you ladies are looking for something to go and trail ride, have at your house if you boarded a stable? I think this horse could do any Western riding classes. He could do cowboy dressage. If Precious wasn't in the arena, and I didn't think Precious would run up this horse's butt and be a complete terror, he does the trail course. Yeah. 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 I mean, this is why I just think for a kid, he would just be, he doesn't do anything that's dangerous. So sometimes when I tell people one is not youth suitable, they automatically assume that I mean that they're dangerous. And that is absolutely not what I'm saying. What I'm telling you is he's just a little bit pushy at times, and it would never be a problem for an adult. He's not going to bite you. He's not going to rear up. He's not going to kick or buck or run off with you. I mean, as you can see, Jackie's going to do all the things. He picks up his feet. It's literally that I think if you have a little kid, I think if he learned he could get away with it, he might do it. And if he can be a little bit pushy on the ground with us and we have to remind him, hey, get your ass back in line. I just would never want him to be around a kid and, you know, step on him or push him out of the way, because I think he would. I think he would push a little person over, don't you? I think he would just be like, hi, little person. Because he just really doesn't understand that you're not best friends, because he wants to rub his head on you. He wants to be kind of in your space. And I hate to reprimand him for it, because he's not being a total, like, he's kind of actually a simp, to be honest. Like, he really would just like to sit in your lap and have you scratch behind his ears. And if you wanted to take him in the house and feed him cookies, he would be down for that. So he's actually kind of a simp. Like, he wants to breathe the same air you breathe that came out of your body. And you're like, why are you in my personal space? And he's like, because I love you. And I just don't think that's a kid horse. I think kid horses kind of need to have a little bit more consideration for personal space. He does not. But it doesn't make him bad. Like, he's never going to kick you. He's never going to bite you. He's never going to rear up with you. He's never going to buck you off. He is going to be if you're in your 40s and you need a horse to ride at the local boarding stable, and they maybe have a trail course or Western riding, and you want a beautiful 14'2" hand tall, gorgeous boy that wants to be your best friend and is going to take your cookies and rub his head on you so you can be carrying his love with you all the way home, this is him. I mean, he's not bad. He's just not going to be for a kid or a beginner. And people literally think that I'm saying he's dangerous. And I'm like, by nobody's standards is he dangerous. Because I had a lady ask me, well, do you work for my 7-year-old daughter? No. And it was in the comments. And the next thing I know, I get 2 PMs. Oh, well, what's he done wrong that makes you feel like, is he dangerous? Does he buck? I'm like, no, the horse is really, honestly, swear to God, great. He's just really too much in your personal space for a kid. Like, please don't read between the lines. He's not for a 7-year-old, but the 47-year-old that this is her second horse, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. He's never going to buck. He's never going to run off. No, he wants inside your bubble, and he wants the cookies in your pocket, and he also would really love for you to take him home and tuck him in bed with you. But you know what? Jackie and I both will tell you, if you get onto him and get him out of your space, he's good for the rest of the day. But tomorrow morning when you get him out of the stall, he's right back in your personal space. So it's not I wouldn't even say that somebody didn't make him do right in the past. He literally is going to wake up tomorrow and be right back in your personal space, and you're just going to have to remind him to get out of it. So this is Herman. He is fantastic. He's 14-2. He's on the website. He is completely sound. He rides amazing. Please, somebody give him a home. Goodbye.